you must appreciate that the petition before Shraj, many people have made this a Kusibuatin petition, but it was about the National Cathedral project.
Okay.
The fact that there were grave violations of our procurement laws, the fact that due process was not followed, the fact that we don't have value for money so far as this project is concerned, that so much has been spent on this project and all we see is the world's most expensive pit. Then there is the second aspect which relates to the double identity of Reverend Victor Kusibuatin, Kwabena Edujemfi, and the conflict of interest linked to that.
Okay.
Because remember that this whole matter about Victor Kusibuatin and Kwabena Edujemfi relates to some payment that the National Cathedral of Ghana Secretariat made to a company known as JNS Talent Center Limited.
Okay.
And my parliamentary oversight revealed that apparently, unknown to all of us at the time, it's now public knowledge, that whilst he was at the National Cathedral as Victor Kusibuatin, he owned that company, he's director to that company, one of three directors. The three directors are Johannes Eshen, Sheila Eshen, Kwabena Edujemfi. It is now known, based on the work that I did, that it's him, the same person having a dual identity. So I'll come to the Victor Kusibuatin aspect.
Okay.
And so I want to begin with the legal compliance issues surrounding the project.
Okay.
Now, based on the preamble you gave, whether I have a bruised face or not, let's read from page 63 on what Shraj itself concludes about my petition. Page 63 in terms of the conclusion. Shraj says that in conclusion, the complaint is justified in part at the end of investigations. The claim of conflict of interest relating to the fourth respondent is without merit based on the results of investigations, whilst the allegations of breaches of mandatory procurement provisions under the Public Procurement Act, Act 663, as amended by Act 914, have been justified. The Commission takes the opportunity to express its gratitude to the parties, especially the complainant and his lawyers, for the cooperation extended to the Commission during the investigation. Dated at the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Shraj, Old Parliament House, John Evans at Mill Street, Accra, this 22nd day of November 2024, signed by Dr. Joseph Witter, the Commissioner. So, contrary to the propaganda out there, that I have been thrown out, everything is lost, and all of that, you know, it has to be treated with the contempt it deserves. Shraj itself says that my complaint succeeded in part, largely on the procurement issues. Then let's come to the summary of the key findings contained at page 158, as I deal with the first category of my petition. These are the key findings. Shraj has determined that 1, the National Cathedral of Ghana is a public property held in trust for the Republic of Ghana by the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board. 2, the Board of Trustees, directors of the National Cathedral of Ghana are public officers. 3, government at the inception of the National Cathedral project made contradictory statements regarding the source of funding for the construction of the National Cathedral. So you recall when President Akufo-Addo stated that this is a personal pledge to God and that he will not use public funds. We found out later, I intercepted documents from government that on the blind side of Parliament, without recourse to the Constitution, copious amounts of money had been withdrawn without parliamentary approval. And you know that now that is confirmed. When Ken Ofori-Atta appeared before us in Parliament, he sought to hide under a contingency vote that he was using discretion. But clearly this project cannot fall under contingency. So Shraj has stated clearly that there were contradictory statements, there were misleading statements. And indeed, the eminent clergymen were misled. You recall that revered clergymen like Archbishop Nicholas Zanka-Williams, based on a meeting with the president, then stated publicly that, look, we are not using public funds. So the criticism should, pipe down. Shraj has stated clearly that there were contradictory statements. The president misled all of us. 4, the Supreme Court did not rely on the Attorney General's assertions that no public funds will be used for the National Cathedral project in arriving at its decision in the case of James Kobda Bonfe and the Attorney General. 5, the contract awarded to Rebadi Company Limited for the construction of the National Cathedral was in the sum of 312,394,049 United States dollars and 53 cents. So we now know that this project, which had begun, the first announcement was $100 million. We now know, based on Shraj's work, that it's a $312 million project. Let us emphasize that the work that we have done, all of us, the Ghanaian people, civil society, everybody, demanding accountability so far as this project is concerned. We have saved the taxpayer over $250 million because that is what they were intending to spend. Remember that we were able to stop them.
Was the initial contract sum.
Yes, we were able to stop them at $58 million when we saw that. Look, and if you read Bishop Dakeward Mills' resignation letter, he said, look, he could no longer be part of this. They have built magnificent edifices for far less. And so much money. At the time he resigned, they had spent about $30 million. And he said all he was seeing was a hole. So he can't take it any longer. Shraj is confirming that. 6, the contract was awarded by the Board of Trustees to the contractor without recourse to the concurrent approval by the Central Tender Review Committee, a key requirement of the Procurement Act having regards to the contract sum. 7, the National Cathedral of Ghana did not strictly comply with the rules of public procurement provided for under Act 663 as amended by Act 914 when it purported to select and award the contract for the construction of the National Cathedral to Rebadi Limited. Another confirmation, you recall that more than 2 years ago, I did an RTI request to the PPA asking them if they knew about this project, if they had granted approval. The PPA responded that no approval. Shraj has gone into that, interviewed the PPA. There's a lot of communication they have attached, and it's been confirmed. Indeed, when the National Cathedral Board and Secretariat appeared before Shraj, when you read this report, they said that they thought that because it was started at the president's personal pledge and it was not really public, they didn't need to go through the procurement authority. Shraj pointed out to them that that response is contradictory because when it came to the consultant, they went to PPA for approval. So, quite a double standard. Shraj did not understand the explanation. Even though Shraj says that even with the procurement of David Ajayi, the consultant, they used the emergency provision under the law. Shraj did not agree that that is a proper use of the law. But Shraj says that at least for that one, you made an attempt, even if you abuse the law, you made an attempt to go through procurement. How come, when it comes to the construction, Rebadi, the contractor, moving to site and receiving all of these sums of money, we now know they've received, well, they haven't received all the money. There's been a lot of diversions. But a contract that they were going to receive about $312 million of public funds, no procurement. So Shraj did not buy the excuse by the board and the secretariat.
So just hold on. Let's clarify something. The services of the consultant was secured before the award of the contract.
Yes.
But when it came to securing the service of the consultant, David Ajayi, the Board of Trustees, knowing very well that it was a personal pledge of the president and it had nothing to do with public funds, still saw the need to use the emergency clause and go to PPA for approval.
For single sourcing.
For single sourcing. But when it came to the contract itself, after the procurement of the consultant, they realized that it was a personal pledge to God and they didn't need PPA.
Okay. And Shraj says that, look, they are not buying that when you read this report. I continue with the summary of findings. Finding number 8. The contract awarded Rebade Company Limited for the construction of the National Cathedral is illegal and void ab initio. This is explosive. It's illegal. So all the monies they've collected, they ought to be refunding it. It's illegal. The contract is illegal and void ab initio. Damning. Very explosive. 9, it says that the procurement breaches that occasioned the award of the contract to Rebade Company Limited raises reasonable suspicion of corruption and corruption-related offenses.
Oral number 1.
Yeah. Then CHRAJ continues to make further observations. The first observation CHRAJ makes is the shocking levels of lack of documentation.
Okay.
He says, 1, the Commission notes with great concern the informal nature surrounding the processes leading to the transfer of the money to the National Cathedral by the fifth respondent. And this is the 2.6 million. It talks about administrative lapses at such high positions should not be countenanced. Good corporate governance requires that minutes of directors' meetings ought to be taken and kept in a minutes book. This is to ensure that the documentation of key issues discussed at meetings. Unfortunately, both the National Cathedral of Ghana and the fifth respondent company failed to take minutes at meetings under which the issue of the financial assistance was discussed.
So they are saying that there are no records of board meetings with respect to that 2.6
that 2.6 million, which they now claim was a loan they were paying back.
Yeah, so there ought to have been records of a meeting that agreed that provided the loan, your company give the loan, this is the amount. They could not provide that.
They could not provide that. Okay. And yet, CHRAJ
concluded that
it is a loan.
Although it didn't see any evidence.
It didn't see any evidence.
Okay.
It concludes that it's a loan.
Okay.
So let's buy their story.
You don't agree with that one?
I don't agree with that. So I'll come to that. That is in the second category. I'll come to that.
No, I think the most important thing is that CHRAJ itself is saying that there is no documentary evidence of any decisions at the level of the trustees.
Let me read page 162.
Yes.
The National Cathedral Board, they told CHRAJ that, quote, our modus operandi is that we agree among ourselves and do not take minutes of directors' meetings, unquote. Yes. And CHRAJ continues.
Please read that again.
They say, our modus operandi is that we agree among ourselves not to take minutes of directors' meetings.
Who's saying this? The Board of Trustees? Of the National Cathedral?
Yes, page 162. It's available online. Everybody can go and read it. So CHRAJ then says that, look, this is rather a very unfortunate situation and needs to be discouraged. It has the potential to cast doubts in the minds of the ordinary man on the integrity of transactions, and it's a very dangerous practice. Interesting.
So they are saying that asking somebody to give them a loan of 2.6 million, they can agree amongst themselves.
Yes. No minutes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And then CHRAJ says CHRAJ says that in light of the foregoing, and in light of the Commission taking notice of the fact that the Board of Trustees of National Cathedral are all clergymen who may or may not be well versed in corporate governance, the Commission recommends additionally that capacity building in good corporate governance be organized for the board by credible professional bodies such as the Institute of Directors.
But who represented the trust there?
Dr. Paul Opoku Mensah, and at the point Professor Opoku Onyena.
Yeah, but Dr. Paul Opoku Mensah, doesn't he have capacity?
Good question, because he's not really technically a clergyman, and he's appointed as executive secretary.
Okay.
Then CHRAJ continues. It says, also of crucial importance is the amount spent so far on the National Cathedral. Our investigation showed that as at 31st May 2022, the amount of 225,962,500 Ghana cedis, described as seed money, had been released for the construction of the National Cathedral per Exhibit 9. This sum of money has been expended, according to Exhibit 9, on site preparation, contractors mobilization, US fundraising, consultants, and symposia. The stated sum of money is no small amount. Public interest dictates that there ought to be value for money in project execution. Unfortunately, this commission has no expertise to determine whether there has been value for money, considering the project remains in the same state Accordingly, the Commission recommends that the Auditor General should conduct a forensic audit on the construction of the National Cathedral project with its inception to date to ascertain whether monies released for its construction have been properly utilized. Having found that the contract awarded to Ribadi Company Limited is void ab initio for being entered into contrary to the mandatory provisions of the Procurement Act, Act 663, as amended by Act 914, the Commission also recommends that the Board of the Public Procurement Authority should intervene to cancel the contract for the construction of the National Cathedral between the National Cathedral and Ribadi Company, as it has the power to do so under the Procurement Act. Now this gets even more explosive. Schreich then says that the Commission further recommends for further investigation and possible prosecution of the Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral, who superintended over the award of the contract to Ribadi Company in disregard to Act 663 as amended. These breaches of the procurement laws have the potential of causing international embarrassment to the country, considering the international status of Ribadi Company Limited. Remember that Ribadi is a joint venture of the Italian firm Rizzani di Ecca, Babi Soti, and Di Simoni, who are owned by Italians but incorporated in Ghana. So, Schreich is saying that all the Board of Trustees should be further investigated and should be prosecuted. So, I don't remember the last time this country had such a damning report. Very, very explosive. That over $58 million spent on an illegality. No recourse to the procurement laws. Schreich cannot vouch that we have had value for money. And when you read this report from pages 120 to about 160, Schreich attaches pictures. They did a site visitation, and in their own words, they were shocked at what they saw. Just a pit. And at the time, they were working with documentation up to 22nd May. 225 million. We know that later on, Ken Ofori-Atta came to Parliament and has told us that there were even more withdrawals. Now, the actual withdrawal from the documentations we have in Parliament is 339 million Ghana cedis, $58 million. And it's still a pit.
Sammy, help me with something.
Yeah.
On the part where Schreich says that the trustees, the Board of Trustees told them that they don't keep records, they agree among themselves. Did the Commission invite the trustees personally to find out from them whether they were part of any discussion?
Interesting question. No, you don't get that. I've read the entire 165 pages.
So how did they arrive at that?
Yeah. But that's what they were told. They were told that
so
the board told Schreich that we have agreed that we don't take minutes.
My question is that there are individuals who constitute the board.
Yeah.
Now, a representative of the trust has come to you. On a transaction, they say that there are no documentation. They say that we asked a company, which is a company owned by one of us, to give us a loan of 2.6 million. We don't have any documentary proof to that. Our excuse or reason is that amongst ourselves, we can agree, verbally or orally, to do that. Should Schreich, because this is somebody representing the trustee saying it, should Schreich not have gone the second level to now speak with those individuals involved to find out from them whether indeed Reverend Dagwood Mills, you were part of a discussion to take a loan of 2.6 million. Archbishop Duncan Williams, you were part of this. Reverend Dr. Josiah, you were part of this. I thought that is what to ascertain in the absence of the documentary proof. If you are going to accept, you see, in the absence of documentary proof, you are not telling us that you are accepting the assertion that we don't have documentary proof, but amongst us, we agree on some of these decisions. Shouldn't you go the extra level to ask those individuals on the committee whether indeed they were part of this decision.
It's just fair you do that.
Yeah.